Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. This is the Friday edition. Friday, Friday, Friday. Weekend coming.
Yep. I need it. It's
I hear that.
been a week. It has been
Yep.
a week. But
Well,
the weekend is upon us.
yeah, that's facts. So, yeah. Um, a lot of music came out today. So much music, man. I didn't even know that music was coming out.
Yeah.
And oh, we didn't even introduce ourselves. Hold up.
Wait a minute.
I am JD, aka He Who Pods.
I'm Dash, aka Dashing D.
Oh, that's it. Got it. Yeah, I was saying so a lot of music came out, so much that I didn't even know like a lot of music came out. So we're gonna have to play catch up and see what we're gonna report on Monday. We'll figure that out. But one thing we did get to hear, which I didn't even know this was a suggestion from the DSP. It just popped up on the home screen. I said, "Oh,
Is one of your suggestions?
yeah."
I'm surprised.
I guess because we've been listening to what you like to call the rap girlies.
Yeah, probably.
So yeah, so it came up. I said, "Oh, all right." So yeah, JT today this morning dropped the remix of OK featuring Young Jeezy.
Trying to take it easy.
Right. So yeah, uh it's called OK featuring Jeezy. It's the remix of OK. I never heard OK, the original. So this was cool to listen to for me.
I didn't know that I had heard okay until I listened
TikTok.
to this. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And I don't even know if you could call that hearing a song because often I think I said this either this week or last week that you really only get about 2 lines of a song and that's it. There are
Right.
songs that I then hear out in the wild and I'm like, oh my gosh, that song had like a completely different beginning. The hook is not doesn't even sound like this one piece of the song. Like I I
Right.
for a long time used to think that I didn't even think that these were like Billboard topping artists. I used to think that these were just random people on the internet who were super creative
Right.
making these sounds. And some of it is. Um, but not all of it. So and not most of it, I should say.
Right.
Most of it is like music that if you listen to the radio or you pay attention to the Billboard Top 100, these songs are songs that are on there. So
Yeah.
I was familiar with the song. Um, hadn't heard the first one, and actually, I did listen to both. The original Juicy J is on the original song.
Oh, I wonder why they didn't just put both of them on a remix. That'd have been a
Yeah,
vibe.
I didn't understand that. Yeah, but Juicy J is on the original, and then Jeezy is on the remix. So
Okay.
very Atlanta. Um,
Yes.
which is cool. I like the collab between JT and Jeezy. I think that's a
Hmm.
great pairing. I like that kind of. I kind of like it when you get like that regional sauce.
Okay.
When you throw like a few Atlanta rappers or Atlanta artists on one song, or like when the New Yorkers get into their bag, they don't really do that a lot these days. But back in the day, back in the day,
Right.
when New York hip hop was dominating, um, because
Long
there
time ago.
because there was an era where it was. But I remember collaborations like that where
Yeah.
everybody would jump on the song or a few people would jump on the song and you'd be like, oh my gosh, this is dope. So I like seeing like these regional collabs because I feel like they have like they may not be the same and they may not sound the same, but they kind of have that same swagger, I guess, about them.
Okay.
So I thought this was a cool pairing. I think the song is cute. I mean, I don't love girl rap.
Okay.
That's
It's honest Friday.
controversial yet brave. I don't love girl rap. And I think that's clear. I think if you watch this podcast, I don't ever say it that way, but I think if you watch this podcast enough, you'll notice that I'm not a big fan of girl rap. So a lot of it is very like, I'm gonna listen to this now and I may not ever like listen to it on my own again. I may hear it out in the wild. I'll dance to it. If I go to a festival and one of the girlies are performing, I'll go see them perform. Like, I don't have a problem with any of that. But yeah, I'm not, but because Jeezy is here, I'm probably more inclined to listen to this or throw this in a playlist.
Okay.
I hate to say that because, I'm a woman and I'm very pro woman, but I just girl rap is not really my thing. So I thought it was cool. After
Okay.
after saying all that, I thought it was cool. I think it's a cool record. I like that they teamed up to do this remix.
Got it. Okay. Immediately when I heard the beat, I was like, oh, Jeezy fits perfectly on this record.
Yeah,
As soon as this started, I was like, oh, this sounds like a Jeezy beat. Like,
yeah, it
sounds
does.
perfect. So,
Yeah,
shout out to Coach K for making the phone call, which Jeezy tells us, and making it happen because that was such a smart pairing. Uh,
this is why I
Go
got.
ahead.
This is why I got to write stuff down. There was content that I wanted to address, but I'm sure you'll get to it. So I'll wait for you to get to it, and then we can talk about it.
Regarding this record?
Like the content of the record, the
Oh, okay.
content of his verse.
Oh, yeah, we're going to get to that.
I'm so sorry that I didn't mention that, but that is a factor here,
Yeah, we'll get to it.
and I have questions.
Single than the motherfucker.
Well, that ain't even the one for me, but sure. And
I
we know
thought
he
that was
is.
funny as hell. He said summer 2024. Single as a motherfucker.
I mean, you can tell he just wrote this.
Oh yeah, this
This
is
is
this
a
is
current.
piping hot. This is a fresh off the press verse,
I don't know when he wrote this, but it might have been yesterday. I, I
It was
just,
recent. It was recent. That is for sure, and I appreciate that. This wasn't the verse he had in the stash. This was
no,
no. I got you right now.
no.
Hold on.
This happened in June 2024.
He said, so all I keep hearing about is Drizzy, Kendrick, and K-Dot, something like that.
Yep. Yep.
And I gotta be honest, I had to play that back because I said, didn't he just say Drake twice? And then I realized, no, he's talking about BBL Drizzy.
BBL Jersey.
Because he said, all I keep hearing is, but he said Drizzy, Drake, and K-Dot. That's what he said. Drizzy, Drake, and K-Dot.
Yep.
But Drake also calls himself Drizzy Drake. So
Yeah, I think that's probably what that is. But
I don't know. Me personally, I took it as a nod to BBL
you will take
Drizzy.
anything as a nod to BBL Drizzy.
Hey, listen, that's what's hot right now. I still want to know who won the competition and the second place. Is it still going?
I'm sure we'll find out eventually.
Yeah, I want to know. Maybe it'll be on the Mustard album that's coming.
That would be dope.
Yeah. I mean, what Mustard could do is have like all what he considers as the best of on that verse. Anyway,
He can do whatever he wants.
I'm sure Mustard doesn't need my ideas. Um, back to the song.
But if you do, mustard.
Oh yeah, holla at me. You know what I mean? At Cherry Eggplants on Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just holla at your boy.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah, I thought it was a good verse. I gotta be honest, I had a slow moment. I was like, why is she saying her hoes are just okay? Wouldn't she have tremendous super fly hoes? And then I realized the second time I heard the hook, oh, she's saying those hoes are just okay. She's stunting on these hoes.
Yep.
I got it now. I got it.
But
I said,
sometimes
oh,
you
that
gotta
was
not
that was
pose.
Sometimes you got to stand on these hoes. That is true. I thought it was really interesting. Um, I thought it was a funny hook. Um, and real quick to go to what you said. Bless you. Real quick to go to what you said about girl rap, quote unquote. I don't think a lot of the music we hear from them. I don't think the singles are aimed to be the music you bump in the house. I think a lot of it is the music that I think those singles we hear from the women rappers today are for when you're out shaking some ass. I think that's where a lot of them are aiming their music to be for the TikToks, to be for the clubs, to be for the festivals. I think that's where a lot of their singles are aimed to be at. So you could be in those I'm about to shake some ass moments.
Right.
Um, I think a lot of them aim to have moments where the song comes on and yeah, ow, and then drop it.
Of course. Of course.
So
But then you and I have to have commentary about whether we like the music or not and whether we would listen to the music or not. And that's what's always challenging for me because it's not that I don't think that they did a good job or it's not that I don't think it's catchy or fun or anything like that. It's just and playability is totally there because it's designed to be there. But when I'm like you said, when I'm sitting in my house or I'm cleaning up or I'm on the go. Maybe when I'm on the go. I feel like when you're on the go, like you're trying to get yourself in a zone, especially when you're going out, sure. You might listen to things that are more up tempo. This actually would be something that I would listen to while I was like getting ready to go out.
there you go.
I do go more up tempo. But like my version of that is like Rick Ross. That's why I'm like, I don't my version of like the turn up is like whatever was Rick Ross's summer banger that year. Like that's me. Or like trap trap trap. Oh, I love playing that song while I'm putting on my makeup. So yeah. But I could see putting it in like a fun playlist.
Yeah,
I would run on the treadmill with this because it's like
there you go.
I like a level tempo when I run. Yeah, I would run on the treadmill to this. I like a nice steady tempo when I'm running. It doesn't need to be super fast or anything because then I'm trying to race against the song and that's never good. People think like people think that, right? You run, so you probably understand this. The assumption is that you listen to the most fast-paced thing that you can find because you're like running and it's like a thing. No, like you gotta listen to something that will actually allow you to maintain your pace because you will start racing yourself. You will start racing the music, and that is
You
actually
definitely get
torture.
excited when your song comes on.
Right,
And sometimes you don't even realize how fast you're running until all of a sudden your heart is like
right, right. And
and
then
you're
my
like
Apple Watch
you're
would
like
be like, right,
heart, what are you doing?
yep. And then at the end, my Apple Watch loves to tell me split pace. I'm
Right,
like, oh,
exactly.
yep,
Yeah, at one point you were going 100 miles an hour because Big Pimpin' came on. Like
right. Like, really, you should just put on some Kenny G. But
there are people who say that. There are people who say we should be running to like Sade and jazz music to keep a slow, steady pace.
I like a little
But
Mary J. Blige. Mary
I
J.
hear
Blige
you.
is usually good because she's up tempo, but like the bass line beat, I don't even know if that's what it's called. Don't come for me. But the beat is like underneath it all.
This is the most not review of a record ever.
Sorry, I was going off on a tangent, but
All right, so you say you had thoughts on Jeezy's verse. Come on.
well, I mean, we kind of said, he clearly just wrote this.
Yeah.
It's very of the moment.
Yes.
He noted he's single in 2024. I mean, which we all knew, but thank you, Jeezy, for
He wanted
reminding
he
us.
wanted he wanted to let us know how single he was.
We know you're not with your wife no more. He also brought up Drake and Kendrick, which that's a very recent that's a very recent occurrence.
Right.
Um, could I thought it was cool that it was of the time. I like that he's tapped in, but he's
Right.
also kind of talking his shit and saying, "Well, you talking about Drake and Kendrick, but like I've been here."
Right.
Um, which we could debate two different sides of that, but I'll say for the purpose of this,
Yes.
like I feel like it's a talk shit record, as you
Yes.
like to say.
Absolutely.
JT comes right in with that. So
Yeah.
that was the type of energy that it required anyway. So I'm
Yeah.
not mad at him for saying that. I actually congratulate him for being so of the moment, because I don't want to hear something that you wrote last year on this very current JT song. I
Right.
like the fact that this is new and relatable, and we're all in on it
Right.
basically. But yeah, so I thought that was cool, but I thought it was funny. I said, did you just say Drake?
Sure
Because
did.
I wasn't expecting, you know, I wasn't expecting him to even mention that, but I kind of like that he was tapped in.
Yeah. He's letting you know, listen, I'm still hot and I'm still paying attention.
And I'm single, ready to
Then a
mingle.
motherfucker.
I am outside this summer. Okay.
Exactly. That's really what he was saying.
Yeah. No, no, he was. Absolutely. He was like, so holla at me because I'll be out here.
Right.
JT, you need me to come perform the song with you?
I'll be there.
I'll
I'll
be
be
on the
there.
road
I'll be on the ride. Exactly.
with all
Out of
them
town.
girls
Out
and
of town. So I
the
go with my
shorty
rounds.
shorts.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Got a great lesson going out more. So,
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
Yeah, I thought this was good. I liked the pairing, like you said. I thought they were good together. I would definitely listen to more of them together. Um, and he fit the record perfect. Like I said, from the moment I heard the beat drop, I said, "Oh yeah, this is definitely a Jeezy-esque record."
yeah,
So that was smart. And again, shout out to Coach K and JT, because I'm sure this is gonna help her, um, along the way.
yeah,
And Jeezy's a good friend to have.
yeah, of course.
Yeah. So
Well,
speaking of friends, um, Queen made some new friends this
okay.
month.
And I feel like I need to make friends with Queen.
Yeah. Right, seriously. Seriously.
I'm trying to go on a beach vacation. Okay.
Exactly. So
Give me
let's
some of
pull up
the points.
an article here. So this is from Forbes.
Mhm.
This is just a couple of days ago, and I didn't originally see it on Forbes. I saw it scrolling through the gram, if we're being honest. And you went and found the article. So here we go. Um, Forbes article headline reads: Queen makes history as they sell their catalog for more than $1 billion. I'm gonna say it again. Queen makes history as they sell their catalog for more than $1 billion.
My ears are still ringing. Okay,
It
because
says here Queen's catalog of hits and best-selling albums has been purchased for an eye-popping sum, one that appears to be historic. According to Hits Daily Double, the rights to the band's music have been acquired for well north of $1 billion. Sony Music is the company that agreed to pay that figure, which also includes their other rights connected to the Rockers. According to Variety, and Forbes making sure they let us know everywhere they got information from, and I appreciate that. According to Variety, the deal doesn't feature monies connected to live performances. Monies. My friend Nestor loves the word monies. That's one of his go-to words. Um, it doesn't feature monies connected to their live performances, as the group is still performing. For years now, Queen has been touring with Adam Lambert filling in for Freddie Mercury. The acquisition appears to be the largest
oh,
purchase for a single.
I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
Oh, I did. The acquisition appears to be the largest purchase for a single artist catalog in history. There has never been a 1 billion plus sale, at least none that the public is aware of. Now that threshold has been crossed, and it may have expensive repercussions in the future of the music industry.
Hmm.
All right, I'm skipping ahead so we can get to the number. They're saying it's 1.2 billion after the exchange rate is taken into account because it was a billion euros.
Okay. Okay. That's
Um, yeah, so there's more. If y'all want to read more, y'all could go look up the Forbes article. Not much more, but there's a little more there. Um, yeah, yo, let's talk about it, man. 1.2 billion Sony Records.
I never totally understand. Like, I would love to talk to someone who is not on the record label side, but like on the artist side about who has done, and we don't know any of these people, but like
We're
who has done one of these
we
massive deals where they sell.
we are we are we are simply specks in this universe,
Right,
and
but
those
I'm
people are far bigger than specks.
right, but I'm just trying to understand. I understand like the money aspect of it. I understand why people sell things that they create. Kind of like when Dr. Dre sold Beats by Dre. Like I understood why he sold it. It's I don't want to get into all of the mechanics of that, but I get it. Um, there is a benefit to that, but I also the question that I would want to ask is how do you is it that the money is more important to you than your um
Catalog.
intellectual property essentially,
Mm.
or is it not even like that deep? Is it just simply our music is out there and our music is everywhere and we are huge, and no matter where we go or what we do, people will play our music. Our like there's it's not so it became so big, and it's so much bigger than just a person or a few people that it doesn't matter anymore who owns it. So why not sell it and make a profit off of it? Like I guess I don't understand the thought process when people are selling their catalog. Um you hear about so many people trying to get their catalog back, or making sure that they own their catalog from the beginning. So it's always fascinating to me when you hear about certain artists that sell their catalog. My question to them is, what made you decide to sell it? And I don't have those answers. So, I mean, I think it's massive. I think it's pretty incredible that they were able to sell their catalog for that much money. But as far as like, is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. And I don't even know if that's a question in this conversation. But I just, I'm so curious about how artists view this, artists who have done this view this. I don't know.
I think it depends on a few factors. I think you got to kind of figure out, and it's hard to today because of streaming and licensing and all these other things. But um, I guess the question is it lucrative for the artist to sell their catalog, or are they making enough money off of their catalog where it makes more sense to hold on to it? Um, Also, in a lot of these deals, they're selling what exists already.
Mhm.
And so if you feel, hey, I still got plenty of other projects I'm working on, or I know I can still make a whole new catalog, then you may stress it a little less.
Mhm.
Um, like I know when The Dream and Lil Wayne sold their catalogs, people were saying like, "Oh man, this is crazy. They sold it for too cheap." And that was my thought. Like those two people work on so many things
Mhm.
and put out so much music. I don't I don't think they're worried about it because they're
Yeah.
going to be able to make much more music and create a whole new catalog if they want to. So I think it depends on many factors. Like Queen, none of Queen is young, and so maybe this was the big cash out. Um, I think it depends based on artist, but it's basically, what's more lucrative. Does it make more sense to keep getting whatever we're getting uh, in revenue, or is it better to take this large lump sum? You know, I think it's going to vary on a case by case basis. Um, if I remember correctly, before this, the biggest buyout was Bob Dylan's catalog.
How much was
Uh,
that?
I think it was like eight. I think I think it was like 800 or 700 million. I could be wrong. Um, we spoke about some of this stuff a while back, so it was a while ago. I'm trying to remember. I don't want to look it up. I could be wrong, but my point is, for every artist, it's gonna vary, right? And for every artist's estate, right? Some of the people have passed already, so their estate may find that it's more lucrative to sell the catalog.
Yeah.
I just think that this number is astronomical and very fly.
Oh,
That's my only real thought there. 1.2 billion. That ain't no small number.
no.
And Queen is a ginormous band, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Um, it
But
makes
that
sense that it's
also
a
has
large
to,
number.
yeah, it also has to be divvied up.
Right. So, listen, I think this is awesome. And if they feel it makes sense, I don't really have any judgment because it's not about me. It's about what makes sense for them financially, um, as well as everything else they have going on. So
Hmm.
yeah, I don't have too much to weigh in on here. I just thought that we should discuss it because of the number,
Oh yeah.
and because of the band. It's not like this is some small
Yeah.
band that we never heard of. This is
Yeah.
a huge band.
Yeah.
So
Let me ask you something.
Mhm.
How much you think I could get for my catalog?
For your catalog, oh man, I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. You got
I'm,
to speak to somebody who knows those types of things. I don't really know. I don't really know those kind of things because you are the king of R&B.
that's what I'm saying, and I'm
So
thinking I could just put together all of the clips of me singing on the pod on this one and the old one, and then sell
sell
that.
your, and sell your catalog. There you go.
Those are my masters.
Exactly.
Man,
Well,
we got to
you know.
get this praised.
Yeah, yeah. Your imaginary catalog.
Hey, 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 hey. I'm gonna go ahead and assume that you're using that as a segue. So I'm
Of
not gonna
course,
not too much, but
of course.
my catalog is not imaginary, okay? It
Of
is
course.
well documented.
Yeah, yes. There are years of catalog that we can go back and pull
Uh,
up.
Anyway, speaking of imaginary,
Yes, that was my segue.
I knew it. I knew.
Mhm.
That's why I didn't get upset because I was like, "Oh, this is going somewhere." But you just
The
trying to.
imaginary. Exactly, exactly.
Mhm.
So listen, the other day it was 95 degrees, and I don't have central air in my apartment. I'm not cool enough, pun intended. So I made plans for me and my daughter to spend a day out in the world where there was air conditioner on full blast. Where the
Smart.
news was telling everyone, stay home, don't go out. I said, no, 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 but in my home is not cool enough. And so I have to go where we can stay cool.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we went to the movies and some other places. But we didn't know what to see. We already saw Inside Out 2. And the other movie that she was interested in, it wasn't, she couldn't see it. And it's against the rules. So it was hard to find something worth watching. And then the times were all weird. So I said, hey, what if we go see If? She said, If? So I said, yeah, remember we saw the trailer. It's about imaginary friends. It looks kind of funny.
Mhm.
She's like, all right, yeah, why not? Let's go see If. Because we already see Inside Out too. I said, all right, yeah. So we went and we saw If. And so I just wanted to speak about If. I'm not going to do a review.
Okay.
But I think I would like to encourage people to go see If. If is rated PG, so you can take the whole family.
Mhm.
If stands for Imaginary Friends. And the movie is about imaginary friends, and so it's silly and animated, but it's also emotional and sad. And so it was a really cool movie visually. There's and by the way, there's no singing in this one. Not like a sing along. You know what I mean? There's maybe not gonna say no singing, but it's not a sing along Disney kind of movie. And so the stars are John Krasinski and Ryan Reynolds, who are homeboys, and
Yeah.
yeah, they're buddies. And they, listen, Ryan Reynolds did a good job. He did what he does, and it worked very well for this film. And I also just want to give some props to John Krasinski, who, man, what a mind, what a creative mind he has. This guy has written and directed the Quiet Place series, which is about to drop their third film this summer. And at the same time, he's got this crazy, fly, weird, funny kids movie. And I just thought that that was something we should talk about. Like, I don't think people are talking about John Krasinski and his talent enough. And to be clear, when I say made the movies, I mean written
Written.
and directed. Like, I'm not saying he just directed or just wrote. He did both.
He did
And
both. He's very
right. And in Quiet Place, I know his character is no longer involved, but he started off starring in the film the same way he's one of the stars of If. And I said, man, this guy, what'd you say?
and that's always crazy to me. People who write the film, direct the film, and act in the film. It's like, oh my gosh, when do you sleep?
Pay me
How do
thrice.
you sleep?
Pay me thrice.
Right. I mean, it's incredible, but it's also like that is so that is such an intensive workload
Yeah.
for anybody. Like that is just wild. So I'm always fascinated by people who do that.
Yeah. So I just wanted to, one, encourage people to go see If, especially if you have kids or an older parent. Some of us have elder parents, they're heading into their senior years. And this is a cool thing to see with your kids, your nieces, your nephews, your, non-binary children. And also with the grandparents. Some people were in there as big families, and I said, oh, that's fly right there. You know what I mean? You could tell it was grandma, grandpa, mom, dad, and the kids. And I said, oh, this is fly right here.
Well,
Um,
kids are with grandparents right now. It's grandparent season right now with
this is
school
true.
ending. A lot. I remember whenever I would
That's true.
travel around this time, you go to the airport and all you see is kids being shipped off to grandma and grandpa.
Yeah,
So
that's true. No, that's
it's the
true. And when I
perfect
was when I
time.
was when I was a young lad, as soon as summer hit, we were with grandma a lot.
Yeah,
So yes, I understand.
my
But
nieces
yeah,
are with
so
grandma right now.
right, exactly. Yeah, so I wanted to encourage people to go see If, but
Hmm.
also give props to this brilliant mind, this genius, you
Yeah,
know, um,
see what you
who
did
I
there.
don't see people really talking about. I know that the Quiet Place franchise is popular, but this guy is really cranking out films, and I don't know what the box office numbers are for If, but he's got two movies out at the same time in the summertime. That's a big deal.
Yeah, very cool. He's come a long way from
A C-list actor, yeah.
the Office. um, I also I also love I watched The Office later on, not when it was on its
I've
first
never
run.
seen it.
Here's why I think you would find it interesting, and this is what I found interesting, just because we're like into pop culture and stuff like that. But when you watch The Office, you realize how many people you know now and look at now
Oh,
that have these huge, massive careers, either just did a cameo or did a season or two on The Office. I'm always fascinated. I mean, John Krasinski was on The Office for, I believe its entirety. I don't think there was ever a time he wasn't on it, but he was one of the staples. But it's always so fascinating to me. Some people that we see now today doing these
Big
amazing,
things.
incredible things. I don't know that all of them got their start on The Office, but a lot of them kind of funneled through The Office at some point early on in their careers.
Mhm.
So I always think that's cool. So when you told me that he wrote and directed that, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember when he had his rom com run.
Mhm.
Um, he was doing a bunch of rom coms for a while. I mean, rom coms are not what they used to be, but there was an era for it where I feel like there was always a rom com in the theaters.
Yes,
Um,
before the superheroes.
yeah, and he was in a lot of them. He
Gotcha.
was he was in a lot of them for a while. Him, Ryan Reynolds. So it's never surprising to hear that like him and Ryan Reynolds are friends, or some of the other guys are friends. Um, but yeah, so really exciting for him, and I do want to see If. I'm glad you didn't spoil it for us because I do want to see it. I mean, I wouldn't have cared if there were spoilers. I would have went to see it anyway, but it is something that I want to see because it looks really interesting, and you've talked it up now, so I feel like I have to go see it.
Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool movie. It's
Yeah.
gonna make you laugh, and it might make you cry.
Oh, I love a good cry from a
Oh, my
film
daughter, my
show.
daughter was in there crying.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, listen, sometimes you gotta shed a little tear.
Listen, I was about to say, and between her sitting next to me crying and what was happening on the screen, I was like, oh no, it might happen. It might
Oh, that's funny.
happen.
I do have one last question for you before we go.
About John Krasinski?
No.
Oh, okay. What's up?
Did you have an imaginary friend?
No,
You didn't.
I had wrestling toys. I didn't need an imaginary friend. I was suplexing and body slamming everything.
You say it like one replaces the other.
I didn't, that was it. Didn't have one of those. And then I had a sister at like 4 years old, so
I mean,
then that was it.
I had an imaginary friend.
But I was about to say, according to the film, spoiler alert, everyone has had an imaginary friend.
Yeah, is it possible that you don't remember your imaginary friend
Sure,
from
uh,
earlier on?
sure. And watch the movie. I don't want to say anything else.
Mhm. Yeah, I had one. I remember her name and everything. We were thick as thieves. We did everything together, and we were like growing up together too. Like in my mind, when I was a little kid, I was like planning out my wedding and
Got it.
prom.
She was going to be the bridesmaid.
Right. Like we used to go on dates together.
Oh, okay.
I was young. I don't know where I got that from. I had my entire life I have watched entirely too much television. That is clear. Because where else did I get that from? I grew up with an older sister who was 5 years my senior, so I knew things that maybe all the kids my age didn't know before they knew it. So yeah, but yeah,
Got it.
I had everything. I had the dolls that I did the same thing that you did with your wrestling toys with my dolls.
Yeah.
And then I had a sister and I had a younger brother, but I also had an imaginary friend.
Well, it
So
was a packed house.
yeah, it was a lot going on in that house. A lot of kids in
Clearly,
the house.
clearly, we
Okay.
got to call Josh and find out about his imaginary friend.
Oh, no, if he had one, I don't remember him having one. That is a
You
good
might, you
question.
might not have known. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because I feel like no one really knew about mine.
Yeah, of
Come
course
to
not.
think, come to think of it,
Y'all were too busy for everybody to know.
yeah. I
Y'all were
used
off
to
having
say,
the adventures.
I used to say things like Boys to Men was gonna perform at the wedding. Not me and my imaginary friend, but my boyfriend that I used to go on the double dates with. I've always loved R&B. I've always been the king of R&B, okay? Anyway, I just, don't give me a Nickelodeon slime microphone. Huh, okay? Don't you do it with the real microphone in it, so it echoed when you spoke into it or sang. You couldn't tell me nothing.
Gave you the reverb you needed.
Yep, sure did.
Got
Sure
it.
did.
And your imaginary friend was cheering you on.
Oh, until we fell out.
Hate to see it.
We fell out, and I think that was the end of the imaginary friend thing. I think I just knew that I had to get rid of her at some point. So she kind of got killed off of the show.
Not killed off.
I'm joking. I'm just saying excuse me, a better way to say it is she got voted off the island. Yeah.
You are the weakest link. Goodbye.
Yeah, I couldn't have an imaginary friend for the rest of my life. So, I'll watch the film. I know I see the faces you're making, but
Try not to say anything,
yeah.
about you or the film.
I mean, maybe she's in her 40s today. I don't know. Anyway, we gotta get out of here.
Yep. Take us away.
This has been Weeknights, and we will see you guys on Monday. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Do, 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 do.